Neil Rosen, and he's local, and so Father Ricardo found him, and
I bet the attendees loved that. You know, men like a good comedian.
yeah, we love to joke, right? We love to have jokes, we love to tell jokes, and we put him on right after lunch. After lunch
to get everyone, with their food coma going on, and then you're gonna rev them up with some comedy and get back into learning how to be godly men.
And it worked. Everybody was engaged, laughing. We had a good time. Plenty of food. The lunch by the Herrera family was great. It's Alicia's there in Katy. They're Catholic. And so great food. So here's the three ingredients, right? So great food, laughter, learning, prizes. Tim, we had over 15 prizes, door prizes.
Door prizes.
Yeah, so I had to incorporate that on into the schedule. Wow, I was busy the whole time. I was exhausted.
The MC
Saturday
is the
night.
cherry on top. So yeah, you're the glue that holds it all together.
No kidding.
Did you learn anything? Were you able to even hear the speakers?
Yeah, I did. I took a few notes. Father David Michael, all the speakers were great, and I love how they all bring their pieces together. And I was really happily surprised. Father David Michael Moses has a great story. You've had him on before. I think we should have him back on again. But a great story.
Well, his Concert for Life is coming up in 8 days.
Yeah, good plug. And so that's why maybe we had him on there. But Father Hinckley, Father Richard Hinckley.
Father Hinckley.
Yeah, he did Mass at 5 o'clock.
His interview that he did on this show is one of my favorites ever.
Oh, really?
Because I asked him, what's unusual? And he was the first person who actually gave me a real unusual answer. He was like, he's into beekeeping.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Did he mention that at the festival?
No.
Okay, no.
He did not.
Yeah, okay.
No. He was very intense on what his witness, his presentation was about.
Well, what a great guy.
Yeah, so all the speakers did well. And again, we're going to do this again next year.
Okay.
And you know what? I was getting emails and texts leading up to the week or leading up to Saturday, and I'm like, I'm sorry, we're full. We can't take any more, but
okay.
but be looking out next year as well.
Okay, so st-bart.org if you want to sign up for an email list or something, or rather flock note and get announcements about next year's men's
Good
conference.
Point. Yes.
And there's already 2 great women's conferences because we covered those as well. So now that we've got the women's conferences covered and the men's conference coming back, and maybe we can duplicate it and do more of them. Great work, man. Okay, so I'll let you get back to your Share-a-thon prep because tomorrow Share-a-thon starts. Do you know the theme off the top of your head?
In His Presence?
Yep, in His Presence, the Eucharistic Revival. So our Share-a-thon listeners, we do this 4 times a year to ask for you to become part of our GRN family of donors and keep this radio apostolate going. So, David, how important is it to our budget? You're the business manager. You get to see the spreadsheets. Is the Share-a-thon 50% of our budget, 90% of our budget, 10% of our budget? What is it?
So we have 4 share-a-thons, so they're probably about 20%.
Really?
Yeah, because
wow.
We have.
So without the share-a-thons, we cannot do this.
No, and that's a great point, Tim. So we have all these events. You have 2 or 3 that you have in your Houston area, and so I forgot to mention what you receive here stays in Houston. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So our donors and listeners.
We've got for those who aren't aware of it, the Guadalupe Radio Network does have 45 stations in a whole bunch of different cities.
45.
We only have the 2 here in Houston, the FM 96.1 in Jersey Village and the AM 1430 that covers the whole metro area. But every station needs to pull its own weight, and Houston, this is a big city. This is the 4th largest market in the country.
The archdiocese.
Yeah,
over
huge,
150
huge.
parishes. So,
yeah.
so it's a great point.
So
Yes.
we need you to listen to the Share-a-thon tomorrow. God has messages for you throughout the Share-a-thon, just like He does with the regular programming. And it's an invitation for you to become an evangelist with us and to keep Catholic radio on the air.
And I don't want to spoil anything, but you got to listen this week because we have some great prizes to give
Absolutely.
away. And how are you doing on volunteers?
We're doing pretty good on volunteers. Since Carol's not feeling well, I don't know if she's going to be in for the early shift tomorrow, so I could possibly use one more person to come in at 6:45 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
So if that is you and you are free tomorrow morning early and you really wanted to be part of a share-a-thon, this is your one opportunity. So give me a call, give me an email, go to grnonline.com. grnonline.com. That's our website. And you can let me know that you can come in tomorrow morning early and we'll get you in there on the share-a-thon schedule. So thank you. Thank you so much, David. Great job.
Thank you, guys.
I love this theme in his presence with the Eucharistic revival. Just before we get into our Loving Choice minute, I wanted to share something that's been on my heart, listeners. It was a moment, a very vivid moment in my mind that changed my view of the sacrament. We just finished the Feast of Corpus Christi, coming up on the Sacred Heart, and this Eucharistic revival that we're in. People don't believe in the real presence. They don't believe that it's not just a symbol. The wafer of bread and the cup of wine is Jesus' actual body and blood. That is what the sacrament is. Do you really believe that? There was a moment, as you probably heard before, I'm a convert. I grew up Baptist, I became Episcopal, and then I became Catholic. And there was a moment when it struck home to me. I had a little baby in the church, and I had to take him out for the during the consecration because he was crying in diaper change or something like that. So I was walking back through the cry room, and at the back of the church, and I was heading towards the restroom, and I was thinking to myself, like, okay, so the cry room is kind of a place where you can still kind of be attending Mass, but you're probably not going to do all the motions. You're not going to really participate in it. So everyone in the church was kneeling down at the consecration. Like, okay, that's great. And then I walked back into the cry room, and I'm just expecting, like, chaos and people lounging and stuff and kind of, praying in their hearts, but really posture doesn't matter. But everyone in the cry room, children, parents, teenagers, they were on their knees with no kneelers on this hard floor. And I know you've seen this in North Texas. You've seen people do that. You've seen others in church, kneel down or like people kneel on the sidewalk when the Eucharistic procession goes by. But as a convert, at that moment, I saw these people like, whoa, they really believe this. They actually believe that wafer is the body of Jesus. And they are going to kneel no matter how uncomfortable it is, no matter how much their baby is crying. They care. They believe it. And that act of kneeling woke a faith inside me. So I don't want you to be discouraged. When you treat the body and blood of Jesus like it's real, like it's actually there, you are bearing a witness to people like me who didn't know at the time. I hadn't solidified in me. I had already accepted it mentally. I had already accepted the idea of the sacrament, but I didn't really get it physically, emotionally, until I saw those people in their nice church clothes kneeling on a hard floor in a cry room. So your act of kneeling can increase the faith of others. I just want you to take that with you away from Corpus Christi here, going into Sacred Heart. And remember, you can always make a spiritual communion. Okay, so sorry, enough of my little soapbox there. I really wanted to share that with you. But let's go to our Loving Choice Minute here on the Catholic Lunch Break. Loving Choice is the only Catholic pregnancy help center here in Houston, and they partially sponsor this program. So we check in every week to see how they're going. And today we have volunteer Lily Quinones from Loving Choice. Lily, welcome to the Catholic Lunch Break.
Hi.
Hey, good to have you here. So
Thank you for having me.
you're a volunteer with Loving Choice, is that right?
Yes, sir. I
Okay.
am.
Well, let's get to know you a little bit and introduce you to the audience. So how long have you been volunteering with Loving Choice?
This November will be 3 years.
3 years, and I was told that you just graduated from college. How is that?
Yes, I did. Oh my gosh, it still hasn't hit me. I feel like I'm just gonna go back in August.
No.
So maybe when the diploma arrives, it'll hit me.
There you go. So, well, which college were you going to?
Franciscan University of Steubenville in Ohio.
Oh, wow. Good college. What was your degree?
Social work.
Social work. Well, I think we talked to your mom just a couple of weeks ago, Susan Quinones, and
Yeah, you did.
and she's a social worker too. So you're following in her footsteps there. Does that carry over into your work there at Loving Choice Catholic Pregnancy Help Center?
Oh, 100%. There's a lot of theories that you learn in social work, and it's really great to be able to apply it to the clients here and kind of be able to be like, oh yeah, I can understand like why they're in this position and like how different things affect their current like status. Like person and environment theory is a huge one.
What? Say that again?
Person and environment theory is a huge one.
Can you explain that a little more for me and for our listeners?
Yeah, of course. Your environment directly impacts you. So like say for example, you're a woman in a rural place with like 100 people in the town, you're not going to have as many resources as someone in Houston.
Just like Loving Choice Catholic Pregnancy Help Center. That's the kind of resource that you're
Exactly.
talking about there. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of clients have you worked with there at Loving Choice, and how have they changed your life?
Oh my gosh. Well, I can definitely say that working at Living Choice has definitely impacted my like views and like my thoughts on pro-life. Like it's definitely evolved it in a way like that I never thought I would have. Because, you know, when I started out, I was like 20 and I had a very like black and white view of abortion, of like women who do that are evil, like there's no reason. And but then coming here and hearing these women's stories and seeing where they are, like it made me realize I'm very blessed to have the family that I have, to have the things that I have, the ability to go to college, whereas a lot of these women have to work every single day for like 12 hours just to get by.
Mm-hmm.
And it just really made me realize, wow, like it's a very complex issue that has to be treaded very carefully. And so I really attribute my revelations of like the abortion issue to Loving Choice.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we know that they're doing good, not just for the women who come in, but also for the volunteers like you who are being formed in this, and this is an opportunity for you to pay that privilege forward and actually, help others. Have you made any friends there, or you've been volunteering for about 3 years now? Has this something you're going to take with you, or are you going to keep doing it now that you've graduated?
Oh yeah, I plan on continuing Loving Choice. I have made a lot of friends. I think I'm the youngest volunteer, but friends come in all sorts of places. So my mom volunteers here. Anne Hazan volunteers here as well, and she's been really great. She helps me. I used to volunteer on her shift, and she taught me a lot. She's just a wonderful woman.
Nice, nice. So thank you so much for sharing the things that you've learned and the things you've been able to do. So I like to get the different perspectives on like elevator pitches. So if you were, say, in downtown Houston or at the grocery store or something, and you ran into somebody, you started the conversation. They're a stranger. You don't know them. And they're like, well, what do you guys do? And then you mentioned Loving Choice. And like, what's that? What do you say? How do you tell them completely cold what Loving Choice is and does?
I'd say we're a center that helps support women through pregnancies of all kinds, and it's a place that shows love and compassion so that you can make the best choice for you.
A loving choice, really. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think you guys should have the tagline: "Always make the loving choice." I'm kind of playing with that, but we'll see if John goes for it. So my last question then is: what is the need there? And for our listeners who are listening from anywhere from Galveston to Conroe to Baytown to Sealy, anyone listening, what is the need, and what would you ask them to do to get involved?
Definitely volunteers. Of course, you don't have to be an advocate. There are lots of different positions if you're not one for like one-on-one interviews. We have a baby boutique that you can help kind of set up. We have needs for like getting technology figured out because, technology can be really tricky. So there's just all sorts of positions, but I'd say like having warm bodies in the place is definitely one of the greatest needs.
So we just need more people with more hours. Most of the volunteers we've talked to, they say they do 3 hours a week. It's not that much. And even if you have to drive up to Spring to do it, that's probably not too much of a hardship. But also, I think people can do some jobs from home, just like answering phones or making calls or handling social media, that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful. Well, Lily Quinones, thank you so much for joining us here on the Catholic Lunch Break. You're welcome back anytime. And keep doing that awesome work there at Loving Choice.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much.
Okay, God bless you. And Loving Choice, the website is loving-choice.org, loving-choice.org. But I want to let you know that they are sponsoring a prayer breakfast for us for the Guadalupe Radio Network. They liked our Catholic Radio Prayer Breakfast series so much that they came to me and they said, we want to host one of these for you. So the details for that are up on our website now, grnonline.com. I can announce the speaker, Stephanie Aquila. You know Stephanie Aquila of His Girls Sunday. She's going to be our networking business leader speaker on the prayer breakfast, and that is a week from Thursday, if I get the date on that right. So anyway, the date is up on the website as well, grnonline.com. It's 7 to 9 a.m., and this time it's going to be at the Knights of Columbus Hall on Telephone Road. So go and look that up and sign up for it right now. The breakfast is only $10. All of the proceeds benefit the Guadalupe Radio Network, and you will get to meet some awesome people just like Lily there who volunteer at Loving Choice. Part of the Loving Choice board is going to be there. I'll be there, of course, and other Catholic professionals that you can network with and have a great time with, praying in the morning, swapping business cards, get some door prizes. If you want to get some extra recognition for your business, not only there at the breakfast, but also a little bit on the air here, you can get a table for your business. All of that is at grnonline.com. Just look for the prayer breakfast link or go directly to grnonline.com/Houston Breakfast. You are listening to the Catholic Lunch Break. We're talking about everything Catholic in Houston. And when we come back, we're going to be talking with the pastor of Holy Rosary Catholic Church, Father Peter Damian Harris, and a very special surprise musical guest here on the Catholic Lunch Break. You're listening to AM 1430 on the Guadalupe Radio Network.
Southeast Houston Cardiology is a proud sponsor of this Guadalupe Radio Network station and The Doctor is In with Dr. Ray Garendi. Southeast Houston Cardiology has been serving patients with heart disease and vascular disease with up-to-date, compassionate, and comprehensive care for more than 20 years. Southeast Houston Cardiology has 2 locations, Webster and Pasadena. You can contact them online at southeasthoustoncardiology.com or 281-338-4004.
Deacon Glenn Trahan here, owner of the TRW family of companies and proud sponsor of the Guadalupe Radio Network. For 60 years, TRW has helped our clients to optimize the use of their facilities with operable wall products, creating effective, flexible, and acoustically controlled workspaces, making them more productive and successful. And TRW is committed to supporting ministries that also make our community and our world a better place, just like this Guadalupe Radio Network station. You can contact me at trwfamily.com. God bless.
Hi, I'm Larry Massey, president of the Scanlon Foundation, encouraging you to attend the big concert, first ever Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston Summer Sacred Choral Music Festival. Singers from Catholic and non-Catholic churches from all over Houston will combine into probably the biggest choir you've ever seen, inspiring for the whole family. Saturday, June 17th at 7 p.m. at Houston Christian University. For tickets, go to archgh.org/choral festival. See you there.
Calling all young adults. All young adults ages 18 to 39 are invited to sign up for a Cafe Connect discussion group. These groups will meet online or in person once a week during the month of July in conjunction with the main Cafe Catholica program. There are more than 20 groups available, so young adults can sign up according to their schedule. Registration opens in June. Find all the details online at archgh.org/Cafe Catholica. Click Cafe Connect discussion groups for details.
Listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic. And how are you doing today, Father Peter?
Wonderful, thank you very much.
Good. So my plan is to go about 20 minutes on this interview, and we'll air it during our live show on Monday. So we'll just have to treat this as if it's post Corpus Christi. But basically, we'll be talking about the October feast day, and mostly about the world premiere of the Daniel Nags piece. So Daniel is going to be focusing on that. Is there anything else you wanted to cover, Father Peter?
Really?
Okay, great. So if you guys are both ready, then I will go ahead and get us started. And Taylor, you can start the video recording too. Even though, I mean, I don't know that we'll be having too much video, but you'll have at least me. On Zoom? On OBS.
Yeah, can you come here?
Oh, sure.
I've already started the virtual camera. Yeah, you already started the recording.
Okay, great. Okay, so both recordings are started? Okay, here we go. Let me get my stopwatch out. The problem with mixing the live and the recording is that I have to keep the timing pretty precise, otherwise I end up painting myself into a corner. Okay, here we go. You're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston, loving to feature all of our parishes across this great archdiocese. And one of those is Holy Rosary, Holy Rosary Catholic Church in Midtown, very beloved parish run by the Dominicans. Father Peter Damian Harris, he's the Dominican friar and also the pastor of Holy Rosary. He's joining us today by Zoom. Father Peter Damian, welcome to the Catholic Lunch Break.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Hey, I haven't caught up with you recently. You were studying at UST, right? Or did you finish that recently?
Yes, I did. Almost a month ago. Thank God.
Oh, congratulations! Is that a master's or a doctorate? I forget.
But the master's, yeah.
Nice. And sorry, what is that, Taylor?
We need to start over real quick.
Oh, we need to start over?
Yeah, I had his screen on right when you got into the intro.
Oh, I don't care about the screens too much. But let's go ahead and start over. Okay. How about, since you're the producer, you give me a cue then.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait on you. Sorry guys, we'll do that one more time.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2.
You're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston, loving to feature all of our parishes across this great archdiocese. And today we have Holy Rosary Catholic Church in the house. Father Peter Damian Harris, that is a Dominican friar and also the pastor of Holy Rosary Church in Midtown. Father Peter Damian, welcome back to the Catholic Lunch Break.
It's always good to be in your company.
It's great good to have you here by Zoom, at least. I think there was something kept keeping you from the studio, but that's okay. Is everything okay there at the church?
Yeah, so far, we was an old building. The roof is leaking, so.
An old, beautiful building, I might add. So you were studying at UST, and then you recently finished your master's degree, right?
Yes, almost 3 weeks ago.
Oh, congratulations! How does that feel?
I'm liberated.
Liberated, yes. I'm sure that's a big weight off your shoulders there. You have a big feast day coming up in October, and I know it's only June right now, but I wanted to get this on everyone's radar right now because we have another very special guest with us, Daniel Nags. Daniel Nags is a classical composer whose music has been commissioned and performed across the globe. And last year alone, it was performed in Singapore, Australia, Latvia, Poland, Estonia, Italy, England, Austria, Bulgaria, Canada, Portugal, and the Czech Republic, including the U.S. And he completed his doctorate in music composition at Rice. He's been away from Houston for a while, but he recently moved back. And his bio says, I'm reading it off his website, he says he loves evoking vivid imagery in his music, as well as focusing his efforts into projects such as, get this, his 50-year Ave Maria project. It's a project that's going to take 50 years. And so, Daniel Nags, welcome to the Catholic Lunch Break.
Thank you, Tim. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you here. So the reason both of you are on today is because, Daniel, you've been commissioned by Holy Rosary Catholic Church to compose new music for their feast day coming up in October. So Father Peter Damian, could you set the stage for us and tell us, is 2023 like a big year for Holy Rosary, or are we just doing this because it's the feast of the Holy Rosary? What's the occasion coming up?
It's indeed a big year for us. 110 years being in Houston, 90 years as a new church, and so we are very happy to celebrate, of course, along with our feast day of Our Lady of the Most Holy Rosary. So it's big for us. So 110 years since we have been here in the Archdiocese of Houston, Galveston, Houston. So we are grateful.
Wow, 110 years. Has it been run by the Dominicans the whole time?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it makes sense. And so, of course, the Dominicans are pretty closely connected with the Holy Rosary, and it's the name of the parish, and the patronal feast on October 7th is the actual feast day, right?
Yes.
But this new music by Daniel Naggs here is going to be world premiered on October 6th. So you have like a whole weekend planned there. But when did you get the idea to commission new music for the Holy Rosary feast day?
I think 2 years ago, I think Daniel did something for the Church of Annunciation. And we came with the idea, 110 years is coming up, so why not do something special to celebrate the anniversary of the preaching in the Archdiocese, as well as to celebrate our feast day of Our Lady of the Most Holy Rosary.
Excellent. So, Daniel, tell us a little bit about your approach to this music. So, when you receive a commission like this from a Catholic church, what's your next step? How do you structure the project?
Well, that's a great question. Father was very supportive and just super open to whatever I had in mind. And it was an exciting project because we know what we're working with. We wanted to do something that had to do with the Feast of Our Lady of the Rosary. And I thought, well, why don't we deal with the subject matter of the Rosary itself? And so I actually chose to start with the 5 joyful mysteries and to explore all of these in a way that opens it to all people. So really, when you experience the mysteries of joy that happen in each of these 5 mysteries, you're encountering things that have happened in the context of fear, sorrow, suffering, sadness, all of these things, and yet still this great mystery of joy comes through. And I mean, I can talk about each of those, and I do talk about each of those kind of as I discuss the piece, but the way to structure something like this, like how do you write a piece about the Rosary? Well, my approach was kind of more, I guess, conversational and drawing audience members really into the into the story, the elements of the story. So there's not a lot of narration happening, like this happened and that happened. A lot of it's dialogue between the characters. So dialogue between the Blessed Mother and Elizabeth, dialogue between the angels and people, Simeon talking to the Blessed Mother, or these characters talking to us in the audience kind of responding symbolically through the chorus and so forth. So that was a lot of the approach that I had. And then I had to obviously come up with a libretto that
that's the words. That's the lyrics for those who don't know the musical term, libretto.
Correct. Yeah. So, and then that's drawn primarily through Holy Scripture and the canticles that are actually supposed to be sung, right? These canticles are sung parts of the Gospels. And then also, certain writings that I got from 2 saints that lived pretty much in the same time period. And this was Hildegard of Bingen and Bernard of Clairvaux. And they both complement each other in a beautiful way for this work. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's basically it.
That sounds like very academic and very kind of mystical almost. What's the piece going to sound like? You've mentioned the joyful mysteries in the sense of joy through sorrow and all that. But is this going to be like a choral piece, a soloist piece, instrumental? What is it going to sound like?
Yeah, it's a great question. I should have answered that probably first, but I'm calling it a choral symphony in 5 movements. So each movement of this piece is dedicated to one of the mysteries. And this choral symphony implies that there will be an orchestra. Obviously, there will be a choir, which will be the Houston Chamber Choir, directed by Bob Simpson. And we'll have 4 world-class soloists, actually. And we found 3 of them, but we're still searching for the child Jesus, just like the fifth mystery. We're still trying to seek the child Jesus soloist. So that's going to be probably going on through the next couple months, seeing who can sing that solo part. Well, other than that, we have the other soloists lined up, and they are outstanding and world-renowned singers. So
Well, Father Peter, Damien, this is going to be absolutely spectacular as a concert and as new music. It feels like your church is going to not exactly own this music, but it's going to be yours. It's going to be special for just you. How is the congregation responding to this? I mean, do they know, or are we breaking the news right now in the public?
Oh, we have sent letters out, and so this is something that we have been planning for quite some time now. So people are aware of it, and so after this interview, I'm sure we will get more response to it. So, which is a very good thing for us because we want everyone to participate. We want everyone to experience this, right? There's so much going on in our world today, even in our diocese. I mean, the times of spiritual warfare, there's a great need for people to experience the truth, the beauty, the good. And what better way to experience that than at Holy Rosary, Dominicans, Veritas, the truth, to bring people closer to Christ in the mysteries that we celebrate each day and pray in the Rosary. So this is, in this concert, we hope that others would experience this beauty, this joy that comes from Daniel's great work.
Yeah. Father Peter, Damien, can you maybe just explain for our listeners in a short way kind of the importance of the Rosary? Why is this prayer so special?
Yeah, it's a very, very important aspect of our tradition, right? And because it's a combination of prayers where we reflect on the most important events in the life of Christ and his beloved mother, our Mother Mary. And that's what we share, right? We don't only recite, but we contemplate on the great mysteries, right? Of the birth, the life, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And that has so much to do with our own salvation, right? As broken as we are able to meditate, to recite this rosary, seeking the intercession of our Blessed Mother and asking her Son, to intercede on our behalf. So this is a great prayer, and it's something that we all should cultivate, right? To pray at least once a day, a week, if we can, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel, when you were working with the libretto and the music for the joyful mysteries in particular, those are the mysteries that include the Annunciation and, of course, Christmas. So I'm wondering if there was something that stood out to you or something you had a particular affinity for, like when you were writing the Nativity movement. Did it feel like you were writing new Christmas music, or is it more intellectual than that?
That is a great question. And so I guess the easy answer is that no, it's not a Christmas piece. But I could foresee people maybe wanting to maybe do parts of this or even the entire thing during Christmas. But Christmas is it's already, let's say, oversaturated with great, amazing music.
Well, we wouldn't want you to experience the same fate as Handel, of course, right?
Exactly. It's not probably likely in the cards for me, but what struck me, I think, in this was certain ways in which the saints' writings sort of put flesh on more bones of the kind of the events and the happenings. But I really like the way that they plumbed the depths more of these mysteries. And Hildegard of Bingen, her I know her music, but none of my music has anything to do with hers, but the words that she herself wrote, just every single time, I'm so deeply moved by them. There was something very, very special with her way of words and her way of relating these mysteries. But the same happens in a different way for me with Bernard of Clairvaux. His words also move me, and they really cut to the heart in a way that is very tender, very human. So I kind of think of the two of these. This is what has struck me a lot, as these two are, Hildegard of Bingen is a super mystical. Everything is aglow and ablaze with mysticism and these things that just take you so high into these ethereal contemplation. But actually, with Bernard of Clairvaux, it's so much more of this like warmth in the heart. like person to person. You really feel that he's speaking from his heart to your heart. It's an amazing thing. So,
Father Peter Damian, can you give our listeners the details? Maybe not the details, but what dates do they need to save, and what are the plans for this patronal feast, and how can they be involved? Like, what should they be thinking of now so that they can be ready to participate and enjoy and celebrate with you when it comes in October?
Yeah, so this event is planned for the 6th of October at 7 p.m. And if you want more information, go to patronalfeastdayholyrosary.org for more information, or call the office for more information. Check our webpage, Facebook, or Twitter for more information. So we need everyone to come and support and enjoy this beautiful event and celebration of 110 years and our Feast of Our Lady.
Okay, got it. So the holyrosaryparish.org webpage is going to be the primary place people can go to find information, or just contact the church office, holyrosaryparish.org. Moving on a little bit to some little broader topics, Father Peter Damian, I also heard recently that you're going to be reassigned to another location that's not in Houston. Is that true?
Indeed, yes. I've been here for 5 years, so I'll be reassigned to St. Anthony's in New Orleans.
St. Anthony's in New Orleans. Well, you're still visiting distance then. I mean, at least we could come see you over there. When did that news come down for you?
A month ago, actually, yeah.
So still kind of new. But I know that we're going to miss you here. You've been such a bright light in our Archdiocese of Galveston, Houston. We're going to miss you, but God's going to use you in great ways over there as well. And we pray for your successor there at Holy Rosary, that the community goes well. How have you enjoyed Houston?
Oh, beautiful! It's a great place for the young priest to mature, right, in his own priestly identity and ministry. And Holy Rosary, of course, is a very special and particular parish, right? But people are very intentional about their love for Christ and the Eucharist. So it was an absolute beautiful experience, and I've grown tremendously in my priesthood and the person of Christ. So it has been 5 glorious and wonderful years. So
wonderful.
I reckon.
Well, we will. Our hearts and prayers will go with you as well.
Absolutely. And the beauty about technology, I could always be a guest on your program. So.
Exactly. You're welcome anytime from whatever city you are. I know we talk about everything Catholic in Houston, but you are a special one for us. Daniel, I also wanted to ask you about what other kinds of projects you might want to share with our listeners. Particularly, I'm interested in this 50-year 50-year Ave Maria project. Does your work with Holy Rosary actually factor into that, or is that separate?
You know, interestingly, it is separate. But I do have a 50-year Ave Maria project, which piques the curiosity of a lot of people. And that is something that I started in 2005. So this year's Ave Maria will be the 19th year. It'll be number 19 in my collection. So if, God willing, I'm able to live for the entire length of this till I think I'm 73 years old.
Back right after this.
The Archdiocese of Galveston, Houston is excited to announce their first ever Summer Sacred Music Choral Festival. Join choir members of all denominations for fellowship and rehearsal on Friday, June 16th and Saturday, June 17th at Houston Christian University. Raise your voice in praise and thanksgiving in a performance of the choral and orchestral masterpiece, Requiem for the Living by American composer Dan Forrest under the direction of Houston conductor Dr. Kevin Klotz. Details at archgh.org/choral festival.
Asking for help and support when a marriage is in serious trouble can be a difficult task. Retrovi is a program that is solely dedicated to providing the necessary support to help save marriages. The Retrovi Weekend could be the tool that God uses to save your marriage. The next Retrovi Weekend is in Houston, July 14th through 16th. Learn more at helpourmarriage.org. That's helpourmarriage.org.
Cafe Catholica, The popular Young Adult Speaker Series is returning this coming July. All young adults are invited to join us at St. Anne Catholic Church to hear our dynamic speakers starting on July 10th with Cardinal DiNardo, July 17th with Brian Butler, and July 24th with Paul George. The nights will run from 5:15 to 9:15 p.m. and include confession, mass, dinner, and the talk. Registration is free, but donations are accepted. For more information, go to cafecatholica.com.
Listen to The Spirit World with Debbie Georgiani and Adam Bly.
Demonic activity appears to be on the rise. I'm Debbie Georgiani, and I invite you to join Adam Bly and me this weekend for The Spirit World.
On The Spirit World, we offer a Catholic perspective on angels, demons, and how the spiritual and physical worlds interact.
Saturdays at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern on the Guadalupe Radio Network and other EWTN radio affiliates. Visit grnonline.com/spiritworld.
You're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston. That was such a fun interview with Daniel Nags there. We have a ton of stuff in the Catholic community this week, next week, and I don't just mean the liturgical stuff. Of course, we have the Corpus Christi, and of course, we have Sacred Heart coming up, but there is the Share-a-thon starting tomorrow, Holy League on Wednesday, Concert for Life next Tuesday, Prayer Breakfast next Thursday, a Sarah Kroger concert at St. Simon and Jude next Friday, the Choral Festival that we did an interview on, that's going to be next Saturday, and then the Agape Congress. We talked about David Magallanes emceeing. Well, I'm going to MC the Agape Congress at Prince of Peace next Saturday, so to help us talk through the upcoming schedule and also share a little bit of her own experience, we have Sandra McDevitt with us. Sandra McDevitt, the host of Stories from the Heart, which is heard every weekend morning here on the Guadalupe Radio Network. Sandra, welcome back to the studios of the Guadalupe Radio Network.
Thanks, Tim. It's wonderful to be here.
It's good to have you here. So reintroduce yourself for the listeners who don't know. What is Stories from the Heart?
Stories of the Heart is a 15-minute program that's on. It could be anything. It could be a story about a saint, a happening, a story of forgiveness. It just goes the whole broad length of anything.
Yeah.
And I pick from books from 1800, actually 1880s, really old stories that are really, really good Catholic
and
stories.
You get some public domain stuff there, too.
Oh, yeah, in the public domain. And then I get a lot from Guidepost Magazine. They're not always Catholic, but they have a real good moral chance to the story.
And that's an EWTN program. They carry it over the whole EWTN network.
They do.
All the affiliates.
All the affiliates. And then I do a Christmas and Easter special. Those are half an hour long.
Nice.
And I really enjoy doing those.
How long have you been reading Stories from the Heart?
Stories from the Heart has been since 2002.
2002. Wow.
And I've done over 1,100 stories.
That's incredible.
I know, they're getting harder to find.
Oh, my gosh. That's incredible. And you used to keep doing new ones. You don't just repeat the old ones.
No, well, I keep finding new ones.
They'll be running these for decades after this.
Well, they're not time sensitive.
Exactly.
I mean, each story.
With 1,100 stories.
Oh, yes.
You're never going to get stale. You can just repeat them over. That's awesome. Well, anyway, so the reason you're actually here is because you record some of those here in the Guadalupe Radio Network
When I'm in
studios.
Houston, I record.
Where are you from originally? Not originally, but mostly.
Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah, from the WDEO Ave Maria radio. That's where I normally record.
Yeah.
And when I'm here a part of the year, then you're so gracious to let me record here.
Well, we love to help out the EWTN programs, but since you're heard on our station, why not use our studio?
Exactly.
But yeah. So what brings you to Houston, and where do you go to church when you're here in Houston?
I go to Presentation, which is in the Woodlands.
Oh yeah,
love it. Anglican Ordinary Parish.
The Church of the Presentation. Yeah,
yes. Father Fletcher and Father McCain.
Oh, I love Father Fletcher. He's a little guy, big voice, a lot of kids. Yeah, he's one of those married priests because the ordinariate of the chair of St. Peter is something that allowed Episcopal priests to become Catholic priests, and if they were married before, they're still married and they're priest in the Catholic Church. That's what's beautiful about it.
It is, and at first I was wanting married priests. I'm not sure I like that idea, but then when I started going to Walsingham, I said, not a problem. And then we went to Presentation, and then there's Father Fletcher.
Wow.
And so not another problem again. It's something to get used to at first because you're not sure how it's going to work out.
Yeah, because you weren't originally in the ordinariate. You're Cradle Catholic?
Yes, Cradle Catholic. Yeah. Absolutely, Cradle Catholic.
Yeah.
And then coming here, I wanted something that wasn't one of these mega Catholic churches. I wanted something a little more personal.
Well, okay, so describe presentation. What's it like going to church there?
Well, I call it my little church in the country, but it's growing. Maybe my big church in the country. It's wonderful. We started out in a tractor shed. We're still in the tractor shed. And then Father Fletcher had all these volunteers clear it out. And we had folding chairs, no altar rail. We had to have little kneelers that we picked up and put back. So it was a challenge. Now we have actual pews and we can kneel down, and we have a beautiful altar rail, and Father just had someone make a beautiful new altar for us. We have niches for Saints Anna and Simeon because it's presentation, right?
Of course.
It's a presentation.
Yep.
So he's waiting for someone to donate money for those statues, which will go up in there. And then we have a statue of Our Lady of Walsingham that's in there also. And the first time I went there, it's like Catholics, when the last song is, people are fleeing the church, right?
Oh, yeah, it drives me crazy.
Nobody was leaving. And I thought, well, this is interesting. Well, they finish every Mass with a litany to the saints.
Really?
And most of them are English martyrs, of course, because it's Anglican Ordinariate.
Uh-huh.
So they're English martyrs. And a couple of times my granddaughter said, who is that? It's like St. Anne Lyme. Like, who is she? So we had to look up St. Anne Lyme. So it's my son and daughter-in-law and granddaughters go there also with us. And I have the happy job of handing out donuts once a month.
I love it. I love it. The presentation of the Lord. I need to go visit that church. Just
you
because
have to.
I know some families there when they moved from Walsingham, because I used to go to Our Lady of Walsingham, so it'd be good to see some familiar faces. But you're on the other side of the planet from me. I'm in Sugar Land. And so going all the way up to Montgomery County.
Tell me about it. My doctors are in Sugar Land.
Oh,
So
you get it. You get it. Yeah.
So I get the trip.
There
But
you go.
It
There
was
you go.
an hour to go all the way from the Woodlands to Our Lady of Walsingham. But then when they said they're going to be starting a new parish in the Woodlands, yay, something that's a lot
maybe
closer.
we'll check with Carol when she goes back to her pilgrimage to visit every church in the Archdiocese. Maybe
I
she
don't
can
think
come
she's been
visit
there.
the presentation.
She needs to.
We'll give her a special invitation. Carol, if you're listening, put presentation on your list next.
I didn't realize there were other ordinariates. Like there's a military ordinariate.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea.
And there's the Ordinariate of the Southern Cross in Australia, and then there's the Ordinariate of Our Lady of Walsingham in England, and they're doing the same thing as the Ordinariate of the Chair of St. Peter here in the United States.
Yes.
I think though with the Archdiocese for the military, those are really kind of that's it when it comes to ordinariates.
I think
the non-geographical diocese. Yeah.
Back in Michigan, I ran to a man who was doing his PhD on the ordinariates, and that's when I first found out there was a military one. I said to him, you have to come to Houston to visit our parish. You just have to come. He hasn't been here yet, and he's doing his PhD on this, so I said, you have to include us.
Well, there you go.
In your paper.
So before we get to the end of the show, Sandra, I wanted to bring you on because I could just read the calendar on the air, but that's really boring radio. So what I wanted to do here was I wanted to go through my list of upcoming events and see if I can entice you to come to any of them. And I know that you live on the other side of the planet towards South Dallas, but we're going to see. So our Share-a-thon is tomorrow, and I've already got enough volunteers for that, but could I count on you to tell 3 people to listen to the Share-a-thon and maybe donate?
Absolutely. I can think of 3 people.
You could think of 3 people?
My husband, my son-in-law, and my daughter-in-law.
Oh, you don't have to name their names on the air. But
I'm not going to. Okay.
And if every one of our listeners did that too, we would triple the size of the audience.
You would.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And then some of those people would donate. If even one of those 3 people donates, then now we've got extra donations that are keeping Catholic Radio on the air. Okay.
Well, I tried to come in tomorrow, but we were full. I mean, all these people volunteered. I came last time, but you've got so many people volunteering, which I think is great. I mean, I was happy to see I wasn't needed. Really.
I could use one more person at 6:45 in the morning, but I know that would mean leaving at 4 a.m. for you. So we're not going to do that. Not going to do that.
No.
Okay, so after that is Holy League on Wednesday. Sorry, you're not eligible for that. That's the Holy League for Men.
Oh, darn.
Darn. You could tell your husband to go, but that's at Annunciation Catholic Church downtown.
Oh, yes.
Going downtown can be a rough thing, except it starts at 5:30 a.m., and so it's super easy. And so if you ever want to find parking downtown, go early in the morning. Holy League for Men, we just had that men's conference at St. Bartholomew, but the Holy League for Men happens every month. I believe it's on the second Wednesday. Yeah, second Wednesday. So that's coming up this Wednesday. If you're a man, go there for adoration, confession, mass, and then fellowship afterwards. And it is they've got a great community there. It doesn't cost anything. You just show up. Just show up at 5:30 a.m. If you can't make it 5:30, show up at 6. If you can't make it at 6, show up at 6:30. It's It's okay. Just show up and they'll welcome you there at the Holy League for Men this Wednesday. Okay, but here's one that might actually entice you, Sandra. The Concert for Life with Father David Michael Moses.
Oh.
Have you been to that before?
No.
He does this every year. Back when he was Deacon David Michael Moses and Seminarian David Michael Moses. It's the Concert for Life. Now, I just got the announcement for it. It's coming up a week from Tuesday, so a week from tomorrow, and it's going to be at the Bayou Music Center, not the Bayou City Event Center. This is the Bayou Music Center, so it's a new location. But his whole backing band is priest. I know Father Victor Perez plays the drums there. He says it says here he's got priests from all over the country. This is the 10th annual Concert for Life, supporting Houston Pregnancy Help Centers.
What's the address? Where is this?
Let's see. Bayou. I don't have the.
Bayou?
Bayou Music Center, but it's going to be a week from Thursday, July 20th. So on July 20th.
You mean June 20th or July 20th?
Oh, July 20. You're right.
It's a month.
Talk about doing my research. I'm going too fast. I read July as June. No.
Bayou Music Center.
Okay, so that's not a week from Thursday. You got a whole month.
Good thing I'm here.
Good thing you're here.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So July 20th.
Okay.
I guess if you want to get tickets for that, look for just Google Concert for Life Houston. Google Concert for Life Houston. Okay, so forget that then. But is next Thursday, June 20th, the prayer breakfast. The prayer breakfast for Catholic lunch, Catholic radio. And that you could come to. It starts at 7 a.m. We're going to be at the Knights of Columbus Hall on Telephone Road, and you can get your tickets for that at our website, grnonline.com.
It's going to be at what, 7 in the morning?
Yeah, it's going to be 7 in the morning. Our speaker is going to be Stephanie Aquila. Have you met Stephanie Aquila?
No.
Okay, she is wonderful. She's worked at several parishes now, but she also has her own business, His Girls Sunday, that features liturgical living, like in your home, like
family, how
family,
to be Catholic,
yeah,
Catholic family.
domestic church kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good stuff, and she's going to be our speaker. That is actually hosted by Loving Choice, the Catholic Pregnancy Help Center we were talking with earlier. There's the music. I only got through half of my list here, but maybe I can entice you, Sandra, to come to that.
I wowould love to come.
Okay, I'll give you more details off the air. But listeners, you can get your tickets at grnonline.com. grnonline.com/Houston Breakfast if you want to go there directly. And I have to let you know that Loving Choice does underwrite part of this program. Guided by the Holy Spirit and the teachings of the Catholic Church, Loving Choice Catholic Pregnancy Help Center extends God's love in the form of emotional, educational, material, and spiritual support to parents and families as they embrace the challenges and blessings that can come from an unplanned pregnancy. They offer free pregnancy tests, they offer free ultrasounds, and they provide compassionate options without judgment or pressure. You could be a volunteer for Loving Choice. I would actually recommend coming to the prayer breakfast first and then meeting the people there that you would be volunteering with. So go to grnonline.com and you can find our show notes here. You can find the tickets for the prayer breakfast. You can find information about the Share-a-thon. You can make your donations. You can sign up for our prayer request. You can send in your own prayer request. All of that at grnonline.com. And I thank you so much for joining us here on the Catholic Lunch Break. Stay tuned for Dr. David Anders coming up next. And until next week, stay Catholic, Houston, and may God richly bless you.